Good morning and happy Sabbath to all of you. I would like to start reading with a key verse, what Hudson already mentioned from Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a session and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Season, yes. In general, when Solomon was talking about life, he mentioned that not specifically in regard to our body, but in general, there is time for everything. And later on, he mentions there is time for joy, there is a time for sadness, there is time to come to this world as a baby and time to leave this world and go to sleep. But we would like to apply the principle, what revealed in this Bible verse, individually to my and you to your bodies. Our body functions on a certain, or supposed to function, following certain internal orders. And this is why our subject is entitled Partnering with the Rhythm of Your Being. When we talk about human body, let me ask you a question. Who tells that bird which wakes every morning to crew 6 a.m. or 5 a.m.? You know what the bird I'm talking about? Cock-a-doodle-doo, or how you say? Who makes the birds who fly for the winter season south? For example, Paul, you were flying, you have your beacons, you have your orientation. Sometimes you can get over freeway and just follow the freeway, which will guide you back to Roanoke. But when you're over the ocean and you don't see any signs, nothing, who directs those birds in the air? So you see, there is something inside what scientists only lately begin to discover that is crucially important. It's biological clock, something internal, which helps our body to function. So that is called circadian rhythm. What is that? It's a body internal 24-hour biological clock. It's called circadian rhythm. And it's present in every cell, in every tissue, in every organ of our body. A master program that guides our wake-sleep cycle. You may think that what wakes you up is the clock which you set in the morning, the alarm system. No. For centuries, people were living without alarm system. For centuries, people were functioning, and we are functioning. Since the moment of creation, we function on that clock that God placed inside of every cell of our body. It keeps every gene, cell, and organ working at its peak. Circadian rhythm. How it works in action. So I'll give you, before we go to the practical application, just a bit of anatomy and physiology. It ensures that your body processes do their work perfectly at specific points during the 24 hours cycle. In other words, it tells your body when to digest, what to do with that, how to distribute, when to wake, when to go to sleep, and during the wake time, when each system should be most efficient or at biggest use. You know that in our human body, not every system functions at its peak constantly. They're going cycles, slowing down, speeding up, coming to its peak, and then going into the moment of rest. Even our heart, it's a milliseconds, but it has a moment of rest, the muscles of our heart. Same with liver, with the digestion system, with our brain, every tissue and cell. This timely activities in our bodies help prevent diseases. So it helps immune system to fight our diseases. And they also help to heal our wounds in our body. It's located in our brain. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the hypothalamus. It's located deep in our brain. It's a very little, very tiny substance, but it controls the whole body. It's like a little headquarter. How many people you need for us to lose power? One man at the main switch, and Roanoke has no power. So now you imagine that little tiny substance is just that one man controlling the power. You all heard about that when people don't have a hard time to sleep, everybody says, oh, you need the melatonin. What is that? Melatonin. Why we need that? And why lack of that causes a bad sleep? So you see, that is just one part, or just for you to understand that this little switch produces certain substances for us to go to sleep and have a deep, nice sleep that we really rest over the night. And that little substance in our body wakes us up and makes us to function the following day. Now let's go to the practical application of what just said. So how does irregularity in your circadian rhythm affect our health? I want to read you one statement before we go to practical side. The mind does not wear out nor break down so often on account of diligent employment and hard study, as on account of eating improper food at improper times, and of careless inattention to the loss of health. Diligent study is not the principal cause of the breaking down of the mental powers. The main cause is improper diet, irregular meals, and a lack of physical exercise. Irregular hours for eating and sleeping sap the brain forces. As you mentioned, the word regular or irregular mentioned 3 times in this short statement. Why? Because rhythm is what our body wants, a rhythm. And when we mess up with that rhythm, irregularity in taking food, in sleep, in work, in exercise, that's what ruins the rhythm. Imagine a conductor of orchestra who stands before the orchestra, and everybody looks at their music sheet, and they see there the rhythm is 3/4, which is waltz, bum pa pa bum pa pa. And the man who runs the orchestra, he suddenly begins to go 4/4, and it creates a disorder. So musicians are confused what to do, what should we play. The same happens to our organs. They're confused when we mess up with this rhythm. They don't know what to do. The stomach thinks, should I expect some food? I guess not. And when the stomach says, phew, finally rest, oop, hot tea and hot chocolate and then the cake and the ice cream and something else and a burger on top. Chrona disruption. That's what happens when we mess up with our rhythm. When your internal clocks get out of sync, you have chrona disruption. And this disruption will cause short and long-term health problems. Let me list a few of them, starting with the short-term problems, health problems. I mean, the effect, which is kind of for short term, and then if we fix the rhythm, if we restore it, everything kind of levels out. Fatigue, trouble concentrating, poor sleep quality, irritability, memory loss, lower alertness, difficulty making decisions, mood swings, digestive problems, and you name it. And all this are short-term effects, which I mentioned, that it can be fixed as soon as we fix our rhythm. And there are long-term, there are more severe consequences, which are either non-fixable or very hard to fix. Heart and blood pressure problems, gastrointestinal diseases, diabetes, obesity, certain cancers, depression and anxiety, hormonal changes. So when we mess up with the rhythm of our body, there are consequences, short or long-term severe consequences. Depends how bad we messed up. Now, we're coming to the practical aspect of this. What causes a disruption of our rhythm? First of all, irregular meal times, stress, jet lag, irregular sleep, too much screen time, lack of exercise, certain medications, shift work, specifically night shifts, significant changes in life, exposure to bright lights at night. And now let's go one by one, little by little. And I will focus mostly on those that we can change, that we can take control over it. Not everything on this list we can control. For example, stress, can we control that? No. You got into a car accident, now you have issues with insurance, you have a headache, now you need a car, you need the rent, and you have no money at the moment to rent a car, and the insurance saying, no, we're not going to pay enough. Is that a stress? Yes. Can we control it? No. Jet lag. I have to fly to Europe. What can I do with it? It's a time zone changes. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to live with it. Or shift work. It's easy to say in theory, oh, just go and find another job. Yeah, in nowadays, go and find another job. Good luck. So I will focus only on those things that we can control. Irregular meal times. Can we control that? If we put some work to it, yes, we can fully control when we eat and what we eat. It is very important for our body to have breakfast. But again, if we maintain the healthy rhythm, because if we develop a custom to eat before we go to bed, I mean late eating, like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, so you have a meal before you go to bed, or you have a sandwich or a piece of cake or something. Do you think you will wake up hungry? No way. You messed up. Do you need a breakfast? No. You need to skip a breakfast to give it rest to your digestive system. So you see, one problem causes another problem. Now, next morning, you have to skip a breakfast, first of all, because you're not hungry. Second, you don't feel to eat, and you feel tired, but you have to run to work. What people do? They stimulate themselves. Coffee drink, energy drink. Now, at work, they don't eat lunch. That already adds to the problem. And then when they come home, they're extremely hungry and they overeat. And if you remember that statement, those who work in the health department, you should remember the statement that after you had overeaten a meal, more than your body needs for energy, so you overate, what is the effect of overeating? In 2 hours after you overate, you feel a false alarm of extremely hungry. So you came from work, you had a dinner at 6, overate because you are hungry for the whole day, and around 9 o'clock you're extremely hungry. But it's actually a sign that your digestive system is tired and wants to go to rest. But we interpret it as hungry. And what do we do? Let me eat something. And you see, we develop this broken rhythm and we abuse our body year after year. And then we have problems. And those problems are not short-term problems. They are severe diseases. They are real problems that we really have to take time, if possible, to fix them. For example, exercise. Can we control that? We should. So if your work is sitting every day in front of a computer or with books, then you need to set time apart for the exercise. Of course, that does not apply to those who work physically every day. You know, there are some people that due to their work, they on their feet every day, they run stairs up and down, the ladders, they constantly bending, who are studying. And this moment of their life, they're only studying and that's it. They must have exercise. Irregular sleep time. Can we control that? Yeah, in spite of some situations, in spite of some exceptions, in general, it's under our control when we go to bed. And in connection with the next one, too much screen time. That's our problem of today. That's our problem of today. At least, if you're using your phone, you should turn the blue light off. You know that they have these options now that the screen becomes very yellowish, but it's better for your health that to stay with a very yellow screen, but not to have that blue light, because it really disturbs and messes up your sleep. So you see, there are things that we can control. To take lunch and to eat it at the appropriate time. Our body wants a rhythm. If you eat 3, let it be 3. whenever you set it up. If you have 2 meals, that's fine. If you have 3 meals, that's fine. But make it regular. Your body wants a regularity, a rhythm, a cycle which repeats. Then your body adjusts to that cycle and functions properly. Not to overeat and not to eat between meals. Not a candy, not a nut, apple, banana, nothing. I remember when we were, not we, my kids were little children, Juliet was about 5 and Vanessa was 2. They were strictly forbidden to eat between meals. And we never had problems. Oh, please eat. Oh, this is spoon for grandma, this spoon for grandpa, and this spoon for yourself. No. And I observed that in the families where kids are allowed to grab anything and when they want to grab it. When the lunchtime comes, I don't want to eat. No, I don't want to eat that. This, no. And this, and mom dances with a variety of food around that kid. You want this? No, honey. You want a yogurt, honey? No, what do you want? Oh, my poor kid is not eating. Do you see where the problem is? Apply a discipline. Forbid. It doesn't matter how kids look to you, like those little kiddies with the big eyes. Chocolate, please, no. No chocolate until lunchtime. And if you apply this principle, this very simple discipline, your kids will not have problem eating lunch or dinner. Because they are growing, they need energy, and the hunger will result in a good appetite. There are certain things that we can partially control, like certain medications. In US, and it's pretty much getting all around the world in today's day, that pharma really pushes on doctors. And the doctors, being under the control of the system, they push on their patients. They prescribe a ton of pills, especially to elderly people. And as elderly people would mostly be expected, at least now you're elderly and you have health problems, to eat even healthier than you were eating when you were younger. In their elderly years, they prescribe so many pills, so many things to go with a meal, that they take a handful of, certain, that is for the cholesterol, and that is for the blood pressure, and that is for that, and that is for that, and that's for your liver, and that's for your kidney, and that's to deviate the side effect of the previous drug. Can we control that? Yes, a lot of those pills and supplements can be controlled by healthy diet. Eating more raw, eating on time, and keeping the blood pressure under control by natural remedies. Of course, if people all their life were drinking, coffee, and then they have blood pressure, natural remedies doesn't work anymore because it's too late. You abused your body whole life, and now you want to fix it with some tea. You need something stronger. You need a drug to lower your blood pressure. So there are consequences of everything. Why I mentioned that as a partial in control. If you're at home, yes, you can control that. Exposure to bright lights at night. And but for those who work shifts, there's nothing you can do about it. Those who work in later shifts, if you're in retail or if you're in hospital and you have a night shift, you as a nurse or various, professions, they require to stay too late. What can you do about it? Nothing. But let's take under control the things we can control. And diet and regularity in sleep, I would say two the most important, the most crucial ones. And these two things we can control. When you eat, how much you eat, and what you eat. Can we control that? Yes. Can we control when we go to bed? Yes. How to make those changes a reality? I would say this is the most difficult question. In theory, I'm sure that I'm not telling you something new today about your body cycle and how this internal clock wants a rhythm and how it wants to be, that cycle to be repetitive and not to mess up with that cycle. You heard about that. I doubt for someone that was a revelation today. But now we are coming to the main problem, what we are facing, all of us. We know how to do, but we have a difficulty implementing that. To make theory a reality, this is our greatest problem. The Ministry of Healing, page 129. One of the most deplorable effects of the original apostasy was the loss of men's power of self-control. Only as this power is regained can there be real progress. So, to make theory a reality, what do we need? Regaining power, self-control. This is the hardest for us, to control ourselves, to say no, I'm not going to eat this now. To say no, I'm not going to eat my sandwich at 10 o'clock in the evening. To say no to many other things. Apostle Paul writes in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, I like the ESV translation, which doesn't change the meaning, but just more easier to understand. But I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So this is what we need, to discipline our body and to keep it under control. And willpower is something that we have to develop. Few people, they inherit this as an attribute, as a gift, a willpower, strong willpower. I've met just few of those people that if they decided something that, okay, I quit smoking, period. They quit smoking, that's it. It's done forever. If they decide, okay, I'm quit eating late before going to bed, that's it. And from now on, they are not going to eat late. But most of us don't have that gift. We are given the willpower only as a seed, which we have to plant and water and nourish and take care and grow it in order to enjoy some fruits of it, of that willpower. And the fruits of self-control is health, is better quality life, is a clear mind. Those are fruits of self-control. But we have to develop it. We have to grow it, cultivate it. Willpower is something that is developable, is something that can grow. And that's what we have to understand. Because you know, for years we struggle with appetite. For years we struggle with bad habits. And we hear lectures, you know, and next year we'll have another Health Awareness Sabbath, and our health department will have a lot of other health lectures and many instructions and many theories we hear. in Sabbath School, through sermons. The problem we are facing is making the theory a reality in our life. We need to exercise our willpower. So let's work, let's grow, let's exercise, and may God help us in that. Amen.